This time on the Chaos Laboratory. This is a Christmas gift that I got from my mom and dad. It's a door clacker, as you can tell. It's not bad looking. I'm not a big fan of the hammered metal look, but what bothers me the most, and if you have OCD, it probably already triggered you. As you can see, I have the plate squared up in the grid pattern. That's not square to the plate. It's cocked off at an angle. So, what I do is going to take the screws out, make a new hole where this is cocked down. It's 10 degrees or so that it's off-centered. And probably going to sandblast this and have this sent off to a painter as well. Make it look a little better. Again, a hammered look is fine, but I'm not a big fan of it, at least for this on this cheap pot metal. I know it's not a high quality item, and that's fine. You can see it's got pitting right here. Hopefully you can't. I don't know if the glare is too much. And I think this was actually square at one point, but they damaged the plate when they cut it. So I think this was square on the plate. When this got damaged, they cut the plate square again, and then said, "Oh, it's off. Screw it. Drill 2 holes and ship it." You can also see the heavy casting lines on the back. It almost looks like it was sand casted, but I doubt it. It's non-magnetic. Alright, it's partially magnetic. Or, nope, we just found the screw. Oh, never mind. It is magnetic. It's a little neodymium magnet. When I tried it with a regular magnet, it wouldn't stick. So there is some iron in it apparently. Not a lot, but there's enough for a neodymium magnet to stick to it. So I'm going to try and sandblast it and then send this off to paint. See if they can paint it. And the first thing we're going to do is take out the screw, lower the skull, remark it, drill it. Of course, that will be done on the outside workbench. The noise in here would be insane. And I don't really need the wall mount screws on here for this project. So move those. And then, you know, depending on how it looks, you might put some lights in here with a little battery pack or something to make the eyes glow. Haven't decided. But I think a new paint job and a repair would make it so much nicer. And how I'm going to repair it, the angle part, probably helps if I grab the right screwdriver. It's a very shallow blade. There we go. Now, you know how close that is to the end, too. It's off by a little bit, but it's still on the metal plate. It's fine. Even when I bring it down, it's still not centered. But I can deal with the off-centered versus the cockeyed. So how I'm going to do it is I'm going to stick something inside here and mark approximately the whole line where it's supposed to be. Usually I use a piece of chalk or a piece of lead pencil. Just something to score it is what I'm looking for. Let's see, what do I have sitting on the bench that I can use to score the metal? How about an old screw? Will she fit inside? Nope, too big. About the screw. When you have a messy bench, you'd be surprised what you can find. Or can't find. I guess it just depends on your point of view. Nope, that screw's got a slightly too big of a head. wasn't long enough. I'm sure there's people out there yelling at their screen saying there's other ways to do it. Use a tape measure, blah, blah, blah. Well, I ain't got one next to me, so we're going to do it a different way. Random stuff channel. Alright, so what I'm going to do is pick 90 degrees, find the hole, you'll be able to see it. I'm sure that was noisy on the phone or the headphones. There's a little scratch line that tells me the arc. Probably again not the easiest to see, but I have made an X now, and I'm going to mark it for a drill. Except this metal is really difficult for finding my scribe. There it is. X marks the spot. That should center up my skull. And I noticed they counter drill each side, which is rather interesting. But there's the back side of the skull. It's not as shiny as the front. When I take this out to the sandblasting cabinet, I'll probably start on the inside to see what kind of finish it gives underneath. I'm going to be using glass bead, not sand. I'm going to be using glass bead, so it won't be as rough on the surface. Man, do I have a measuring stick? So I'm at 4 7/8. This hole here is at 5 1/4. But these guys aren't in the same spot either. Try and square it up to the pattern on the bench. And you can see that this one's higher up. My hole centers are 4 inches apart. So if I go center of that hole to my center of my X, my X is just under 4 inches. So doing the scribe is pretty close. What I'll do is I'll drill a hole, small one, smaller than these, and make sure. And then I'll countersink it just like they did, make it all smooth. So we're going to restore or modify this piece of, I have no idea. I truly don't. So stay tuned for the modification of a metal skull door knocker. It'll take a while because once it gets sent off to paint, I don't know how long that's going to take. Generally it takes about a month for the projects I send over. So until next time, stay tuned. Alright, we're back. This has been sandblasted, and you see there's the somewhat shiny inside, which I just left mostly original. The outside is no longer shiny. It's almost white. Kind of, I think it looks better like this than it did with the silver paint. You can still see the casting damage from their bad casting on the one side. See, that side is nice and clean in comparison. The back plate has also been done. I did both sides, and you can still see the casting lines right there, and right there, and right there. So now it's going to go to paint. First I got to do is drill out that hole, which you saw me do a moment ago in the video. Get that drilled out, make sure this lines up. But this is going off to paint, so we'll continue the story once it comes back from paint. Probably be about a month. For you guys, it'll be just a few seconds. Quick addition before it goes to paint. There it is screwed back together. You can see that she's pretty square. Now on the back, there's the two screws. I just made my countersink a hair too deep compared to this one, because this metal, once it grabbed the drill bit, it just pulled it straight in. So other than that, the scribe where I put it, the hole was fine, just lost on the countersink. But other than that, she's now ready for paint. But I wanted to show that it sits level and it's been squared up. So again, be a few moments for you, but a month for me. Off to paint it goes. Okay, we're back with the skull door knocker. When I last filmed it, it was actually 1 year ago. So it took a little bit longer than 1 month to get this thing done. It was filmed on December 26th of 2019. Today is December 27th of 2020. So literally a year and a couple of days. Anyhow, it is almost finished now. Thank God, after a year. So here's the door knocker. I've already unscrewed it to make life faster. As you can see, the skull, it's got a white and gray and black paint job. And then the door clacker has been sparkled to make it look like hammered metal again. You can see the coating, or the airbrushing. The backer was painted to look like faux wood. Freaking awesome. And the back is black. So you can see the wood grain. Let me try and get some closer views here for you. It's even got a fake knot. Pretty cool, huh? Sometimes you gotta wait a long time for stuff. It wasn't any big issues. It's just that the person that paints it had other projects, and I had other projects, and it just got pushed to the back burner. I am going to light it up, and I did make a basic little light for it. It runs on a 9-volt battery. Here's a view. It's got 2 orange and 1 yellow flicker 3.5 mil, I believe, LEDs, and 1 solid red itty bitty little fella. And it's right there. And that's not to, it doesn't flicker, it's just to add a little darkness to the colors, because yellow and orange are a little bit brighter. 340 ohm resistor, which is right there. So that way the 2.2 volts this thing takes can run a 9-volt battery. And it's going to get glued in right about there. So we'll need a hot glue gun that is hopefully hot and has glue, since my glue stick fell out. Glue. And we're going to glue it and then run it up and then put the battery on it. I probably should have put a switch on it too. Yeah, who cares? It's going to look cool anyway. You can put a little inline switch either in the cord or solder one to the board. I'm just so excited to finally get it back. So, put a couple of dabs of glue on the edge of the PCB board. And Try and hold it below the nose. I have the LEDs raised up off the board, you might have saw, instead of being flush with the board. And that's so if the angle looks horrible, the way it shines the light inside, I can adjust the angle by bending the lights. Now once I put the little dabs on there, I then just filled the whole thing in with hot glue, which is really hot. Go figure. And now we're just going to hold it just for a moment. It's starting to get hard or dry. Got on my thumb again. Get rid of the glue strings. I saw some technique on how to do it. I just don't remember. There's a way to hot glue where you spin it or spiral it and it prevents the glue strings. And I'm going to glue the cord, the wire. Probably going to glue it this way so it's not seen through the eye holes. Yeah, that works. Joys of hot glue. Try not to get it on me. I've actually gotten second-degree burns from hot glue that accidentally poured on me. I was using a different glue gun. I prefer this one. I'm used to it, and somehow when I lifted it up, the nozzle, that piece right there, fell off and poured hot glue on me because the internals broke. And by the time I peeled it off, it was too late. So, it's not a joke. Hot glue is, well, hot. It can screw you up. I was using a different hot glue gun because I was out of these fatter sticks, so I was using a different one. It wasn't mine. And it broke. So, I let the cable dry, cool down. Let's get rid of some of these glue strings that are everywhere. Although it could kind of cool, you get these little glue strings kind of look like spider webs. Make the door clacker look like it's been out in the weather and bugs have made a home in it. Probably just going to glue the battery right here. I could just pop that off. I should be able to get my finger inside the eye to pop off the plug. More hot glue. If you think I'm throwing the garbage on the floor, I'm not. There's a trash can next to the bench. Some people think I just toss it randomly. No. Just going to put a little bit more glue on the back side. Just because 9 volts aren't the lightest batteries. Although if you buy the cheap ones, they're pretty light. They don't have a lot of material inside to make the power. Plug the glue gun. Get rid of some more of the strings. And now we're going to screw it back together. So we use the right screw holes so it's not kicked at that angle again, because that would be bad. The whole point of this was to make it look cool and be square. Not a comfortable position for the screwdriver. If you wanted to, since there was a hole already here, you could put spacers when you mount this and have a power cable. If you wanted to. Now let's see if I can actually do this. Like I said. I got light, except I can't get it to clip. Okay, apparently I should have put a switch. You can see I can get it to touch, I just can't get the thing to clip on. So I might have to loosen up some of that glue, break it free. There we go. That might make it easier. But let's just plug it in while we're here and test it out. Yeah, I just glued it too tight. That was my big problem. There we go. Tighten all the screws down. Kill some lights. Unless you look really steep angle, you can see it in his nostril. Can't see it through the eyes. And if you steep angle, you can see the battery. But there you go. You get the flicker with the yellow and orange, so it's a little deeper with the orange. The yellow adds a little brightness to help reflect off of some of the changing colors. Then the red just gives it a deeper background appearance because it's a very, very light amount of red. What I was doing before I started filming the little circuit board is I threw a whole bunch of LEDs out and just shoved them underneath here with an LED tester that I made, which is right here. It's a 9-volt battery with a resistor and some cable, and I can just stick the LEDs in the end. And I can fit like 3 in there. So I was trying different color patterns. I tried different flickers and flashes and solids, and I kind of do like the red and orange and yellow because it gives it that fire appearance, which I've used in a couple other videos with the red and the orange and yellow flickers to imitate fire, lava, brimstone, etc. I'm just a fan of the way it looks with the flicker. So, and now that I broke the glue free, I'm hoping I'll be able to just flip the piece off. If I can't, then I'll put a switch in here. Hide a switch inside the eye, or maybe do the power adapter with some spacers if I mount it to a wall. I'll probably just do a switch, truthfully, because I'm not going to put this outside. I'm not going to put this on my front door or side door or any door. Arizona, the sun will kill the paint after a year. And I kind of like the way it looks. I like the faux wood, the metallic appearance, the gray and white tone skull. So here comes the light. So yeah, there it is, back together. So I'll probably just put a switch and glue it on the inside. I'll just cut one of the 2 wires from the battery, run it over maybe to next to the eyeball, or in here, or maybe even under his chin. I want to keep it so if somebody comes over and moves the clacker, it doesn't catch any of them parts. As you can see, I glued this higher than the clacker, even though it's forward of the clacker arms. As far as the position of the lights go, they're not too bad. I had them bent down a hair so it would contour to the skull's face. Since you can see it's, goes that way. And just eyeballing it, it did pretty good, because it actually looks pretty good on camera too. But I'm getting a really good even glow. I'm not getting any really big hot spots in the eye sockets. I'm getting a slight hot spot on the nostril, which is fine. I think that actually adds a little flare. And holding it straight, looking at it straight, yeah, I like it. So what I'm going to do is put a switch in it, probably somewhere in here that I can put my finger in and get it, and still not be able to see it when it's mounted on a wall at eye height. So thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. It's not Limax or anything animated. It's just taking what I do a lot is standard objects, modifying them to my taste, and usually I put lights in them, as you can see here. Most people don't put lights on their door clacker. I do. So till the next one, thank you. Have a good one. Alright, it's been 5 minutes, so I figured I'd quickly show you this. Little on, off, on, off. So all I did is modified the 9-volt plug. If you ever look at the top of a 9-volt, you're knocking stuff down to try and show you, because I'm sure most people know, but anyway, you got the big fat one and the little one, negative and positive. In case you didn't know, there's your symbol. I just notched, because this is this side when they're inverted. I just folded flat 2 of these so I can take it and slide it on, slide it off, slide it on, so it pivots on this one and then wraps around this one. So I'll try and show you. Let's pull out some stuff. Oh, you have an idea, so I have to unscrew the skull again and give you an idea of what I did. So here's the other side of a 9-volt. Let's get this out of the way. Clean workspace is an easier workspace. And get the snips. So I know I just said this is the negative, the fat one. On this would be the positive, because they go on like so. This one is a square, while this one is an octagon. So this one might not work as good. When I mean square, as you can see, it's a square-sided one. Let's get a little bit more light in here. There we go. So basically just take and fold these down. So basics, it's not like it's the best switch in the world, but since I took care of the glue problem, where I had a little bit more slack in the wire, this worked fine. So, like so, and then just slide it over, and it's on. Slide it off, slide it on. The square style one doesn't work as good, apparently. I'm gonna probably just cut these off. That's what I had to do to the other ones too. It's a thicker metal. Wow. That's one. Actually, that was two. And let's get number 3 off. It's not the prettiest. You can see. This is just a quick demonstration. And then contact, no contact. Contact, no contact. This being a paper board, there we go. That way you have to keep lifting this one. That plastic one I used, it's more rigid. It doesn't flex as much. But you get an idea what I did. Instead of putting an actual push button switch in there, which is another thing I have to glue and possibly fall out, I just modified this into a slice switch or a lever switch that click on, click off. So, yep, thought about it after I turned off the camera and realized, oh, that's an easy fix, because I can reach in here and I can pivot it and turn it on. And, which of course you can't see. There you can see the nose is glowing. And turn it off. So, quick 5-minute addition just to show what I did to make this on and off, so I don't just have it on all the time and kill the 9-volt, and I don't have to solder another component in, and I don't have to cut the wires and reroute them. So there's many ways to do things, and that's how I'm doing this one. And then all I have to do when the battery dies is unscrew it, crack the glue, put a new battery in, re-glue it, let it sit for a minute, put the 2 screws in, and then re-hang it on the wall. 9-volt battery. This thing is only pulling about 0.2 to 0.22 amps, which is 200 milliamps, 220 milliamps. It is going to last a really long time on a 9-volt battery, and I mean a really long time. So even if you forget to turn it off, it's not really going to hurt it. So, especially if you use a good quality battery. This is a Sunbeam. They're decent. They're not the best. You get a 2-pack at the dollar store, so they're literally 50 cents each. The Duracells, a little more expensive. They do last a lot longer. They're also a much heavier battery. If you go to a dollar store and buy a 9-volt and go buy a name brand and hold them in your hand, you'll feel the weight difference. And that's usually the quality. So, also, the heavier weight, the more battery generating pixie juice is in them. So, anyhow, there it is. Basic switch. Slide it on, slide it off. Thanks for watching.